been a minute since I've made a video on this channel. Had a lot going on with work. I got sick, working on some other projects. I've got a TikTok and YouTube for Ukraine. I put up a little poll here and I was gonna maybe combine the two and decided no, I'm gonna keep them separate because they're such different beasts. But one of the things I've had going on is I've been editing weddings and I've been shooting some videos for a client, and they are a Christian marriage program. So that's what I'm going to talk about today because it's very, very much on my mind. I do want to apologize if I'm not looking directly into the camera. I'm trying shooting with my phone instead of my fancy camera setup because sometimes it's just a lot to set up and take down and all that. And so I thought, okay, we'll try on the phone, see how you guys like it, see how I like it. But if I'm not, looking at the exact directly correct spot, I do apologize because I'm just not used to the phone and the cameras on the phone and all that kind of stuff. But that out of the way, let us dive in. So really the thing that's been maybe rubbing me the wrong way the most with these Christian marriage kind of deals is the authority. Like all of them, like the wedding vows of the particular wedding that I edited was all about authority. The bride was like, I'm placing myself under your authority and under Christ's authority and yada, yada, yada. And, the groom saying stuff along the lines of, I'll have authority over you with respect and always take your feelings into account, yada, yada, yada. There was a point in my life when I would have been like, that's really, really sweet. That's nice. Those are really cool vows. But, now I find it kind of creepy. And of course, things like Shining Happy People came out recently. I have not finished it. I've only watched kind of the first episode and a half because I found it a little bit on the disturbing side. So I'm kind of taking it a little bit slow, not diving into it because I've got so much else kind of intensely emotional going on in my life. So I thought, okay, just gonna take a break from that. That's cool. But then I've also got this, really this big marriage course that I'm helping to shoot and develop for this client. And, I've interviewed a bunch of different clients of theirs, and it's a lot of that same, this course has helped me have proper authority in my marriage, or has helped me submit in my marriage, or, kind of all of this kind of stuff. And like, to me, that really rubs me the wrong way. I've never been somebody who's like loved authority structures, and I've never liked authority structures in relationships. Obviously, I'm not married at the moment. I'm not in a relationship, but that is something, that I'll talk to somebody that I might be interested in being in a relationship with, or if I've been on a few dates about like what is your view of authority, and like, do you expect the man to be like making all the decisions and you're like under his umbrella or whatever? Because personally, I don't like that. I think that partnerships work much better. I'd much rather be in a relationship with someone where we can like sit down, have a face-to-face conversation about like, hey, like, what do you think about money? Okay, let's talk it out. Let's figure out what are our hang-ups, what are our, strengths, how do we want to approach this together, or whatever the issue might be, rather than, me being like, well, I'm the man and I have the authority and I am going to tell you what to do, little woman. That's not my style. And I know not all Christians are like that, and that's not even necessarily exactly what all these couples mean in this course, or, necessarily in that wedding, but it definitely harkens back to a definite kind of a viewpoint. And I think that kind of viewpoint is still very, very prevalent in a lot of churches, and may even be prevalent in like this kind of program, like the idea of like a Christ-centered marriage where Christ is the authority, and then there's the man, and then there's the woman, and then there's the children. Like a very hierarchical, almost like a business, like, the man's the boss of the business, and then he's got like his little wife employee, and then under her she's got the little children employees, etc. I guess Jesus would technically be like the boss, but you know what I'm saying. You get it. You get it. I've been thinking a lot about that and like why does that bother me so much? Because it's like I'm recording these things and, editing these things, and I've got to, just kind of smile and, be like, oh, that was a great answer. That was awesome. You said some great stuff, knowing that that's what the client wants, but dying a little bit inside, where I'm like, ugh, like I don't like this message. And, a lot of it does come down to seeing how authority is mishandled, misused, like all the time within the church, within other organizations, things like that. It's just a matter of, partly I'm just not a fan of authority, and I'm certainly not a fan of it in like those relationship structures. Like, as I was saying, like I really think that men and women, or men and men, or women and women in relationships should be, as much as possible, equal partners. Certainly there's going to be somebody who's better at one thing, somebody who's better at the other. You've got delegation, maybe somebody is in charge a little bit more of the money because the other person, maybe has some really bad money habits, and they recognize that together and talk about it together. But it never should be like one of the partners has, the final say over the other one. And, because I just find that really, really cringy, really gross, really weird. Like I said, I'm not in a relationship right now, but the kind of relationship that I look for is going to be one with somebody who wants more of that partnership, wants to work together, doesn't just want to be taken care of, or doesn't want to make any decisions, or just is going to look to me for everything like, I'm the parent and they're the child or something. Like, that's weird. It gets into really weird kinds of stuff. Maybe that works for some people, maybe. Like, I'm not going to say blanket it doesn't. For me, it doesn't. For a lot of people I know, it doesn't. A lot of times it can create this really big power imbalance, this really weird kind of thing where a lot of women get trapped in bad relationships because maybe they let the man be the breadwinner, or like control the money, or they just feel generally controlled. Or, I mean, it could work in the opposite way, or, could be a power imbalance in a same-sex couple. There's a lot of different possibilities here, but when you have that big of a power imbalance, a relationship can get unhealthy really, really quickly, and one person can't necessarily get out of it. So I just wanted to kind of share those thoughts. Let me know what you think about marriage, relationships, power imbalances. Are you somebody who's like, I love being under the authority of Jesus and under the authority of a man, and yeah, I love that, I dig that, I'm traditional, I don't know. Sorry for the weird bad accent. Not any shade, it just, a lot of times it does tend to be the southern women who are into that. I don't know. Maybe that is stereotyping. I do apologize if that's stereotyping. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And I will catch you all very, very soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, give it a like. Let me know how you feel about the image quality, if it bothers you that it's not shot on a really nice DSLR in 4K with super fancy lighting. That would be helpful for me to know if it's like worth doing the extra effort. If you're like, I'm just here for the conversation and I really couldn't give less of a care what it looks like. Have a good one.